Hey, this is John Sifferman from physicalliving.com, and I'm going to teach you an advanced variation of the forward spinal wave. I'll show you what it looks like first. So just from standing, just engaging the ground and rolling down on your front like this. And so we're going to work up to that in various levels. The first step is being able to perform a push-up properly, just to have the localized muscular strength to be able to lower yourself down rapidly like that. So you just start with a regular push-up, and the main key points with the push-up is arms about shoulder width apart, elbow pits rotated forward, shoulders packed down on your rib cage, and elbows in tight as you descend and back up again, and keeping a long spine so that your core is tight, and back up. And so you want to work on your push-up first before you begin attempting these more challenging variations. There's a lot of online tutorials for getting your push-up technique cued in. So after you've done the push-up, you can do 20-30 reps, whatever you're comfortable with. Then you can work on step 2. And step 2 is a fairly simple one, just something you want to practice just so you can feel the sensation of what rolling down your front side feels like against the ground. So you're going to start on your belly and going to grab the tops of your feet like this, and you're going to push your feet into your hands, and you're just going to start rocking around so that you can feel exactly what it feels like to roll on your front. And you can roll off to either side, and this is just to get a sensation. You know, it's not a skill that has to be practiced necessarily. It's just, I want you to feel what it feels like so that you get rid of some of that fear of hurting yourself when you're rolling, especially rapidly, on the front of your torso here. So that's step 2. Step 3 is actually a very challenging exercise, and it's challenging mentally. I can't remember what it's called, but I'll show you what it is. And basically, make sure these rocks are out of the way so I really don't hurt myself. It's basically a full hip extension into a spinal wave on the ground. And this is going to be the hardest part to learn, especially for guys, because there's going to be some fear here of hurting yourself. But the main thing you need to focus on is don't tense up and extend your hips, reaching your hips all the way forward so that you're not trying to get lost in translation and think about anything else. So extending your hips forward, and this is what it looks like. See that same roll that we did before? It's just at a much higher velocity than we were doing before. So again, extending the hips forward until you roll. Now that's going to be really hard, and what's probably going to happen when you first start practicing this is you're going to extend the hips forward, and then you're going to come and smack the ground. And if you're inside, everything's going to shake because you're afraid of hurting yourself, and you feel how fast you're traveling down, and you try to catch yourself. But that's what you have to avoid. If you tense up, if you get scared, that's when you're going to have the impact. That's when you're going to hurt yourself. The key is to relax. Relax everything that is not necessary to do the movement. And that means everything basically but your butt muscles, because your butt is what's extending your hips forward. You're flexing these glute muscles back here. That's, oh, camera fell down on me. I'm going to set that up again. I need to get a better camera stand for this thing. So you're flexing your butt muscles to roll forward, and that's what's pushing your hips forward. You're getting a really good stretch in your hips right here, and you're basically making like a wheel with your body. If I look back like this, you can imagine the front of my body is like a really smooth surface of a wheel. And a wheel, what does a wheel do? It rolls. It doesn't fall, it rolls. And that's what you're doing with the ground, is you're rolling straight down onto it, and everything is relaxed. And so that's going to be the most challenging one to work on. When you're practicing initially, I recommend having some sort of cushioning just in case, and that's more of a mental thing of, okay, even if I do land hard, I'm not going to hurt myself. And guys, when you're rolling down, don't roll straight forward. Roll off to one side. So you're rolling mostly on one hip instead of straight on both hips. And guys and gals, please do not roll straight forward and smash your face into the ground. Turn your head to the side, either side, so that if you do hit the ground, if you do go a little too fast, that you are turning your head to the side instead of looking straight forward. So turn your head to the side, just like that. So that's step 3. You have the push-up, then you have practicing the rolling drill on the ground, and then you have this forward spinal wave engagement. After that, we start getting into something that looks a little bit more like the actual exercise. And what you're going to start doing is get into a ball of foot squat, and something where you could just put your hands on the floor in front of you, just like in that push-up position. Elbow pits rotated forward, shoulders packed down. And the first thing you want to start practicing is just jumping up, just like this. And it's really simple, and you can exhale on the jump. Once you practice that, you're one step away from the full exercise. The only difference between this hop here and the final exercise is that hip extension that happened before with the roll. The only difference being is that you're doing that hip extension while you're in mid-air instead of on the ground in a sort of a safer learning environment. So what I want you to pay attention to is watch my hip action. My hips are going to extend forward in relation to where my body is pointing, not forward this way where I'm looking, but I'm actually going to be looking down here, so my hips are going to be reaching forward towards the ground, and I want you to watch that for a couple repetitions. So you have this, and then you have the hip action. You see that? You have this, and then you have the hip action. And so another thing you can notice is watch my legs. What do my legs do? They come up behind me like this. Just like in this wheel drill, they're up behind me. So one more time. Just like that. And so basically you're doing the drill once you can get those two movements put together. And from there, it's just a matter of increasing the height. So you can start from a low squat, and everything is the same. Put your hands down, elbow pits forward, shoulders packed. Everything is the same. You're just increasing the distance that you're traveling from the ground, and you're increasing the amount of jump that you get. So instead of just jumping from here and going down, you might be jumping from here. So you're getting a little bit more of a jump. And then you can do it from fully standing, like so. And you come up into a upward facing dog. So I don't know if you can see all of this on the camera, but elbow pits forward, shoulders packed down, hips being pressed down into the ground beneath you from your glute contraction. And if you can, lift with your crown so that your spine is long. And if it's comfortable, you can reach your head back, tilting it back. All right, I got something to hold the camera up for me. So you end up in this upward facing dog, and you can go anywhere from here. You can do anything you want. It's just one exercise. You can use it to be a transition between other exercises. You can use it just for its conditioning benefits. It's just one drill, and you determine how you use it for what purpose you use it for. And this is the most advanced variation that I've practiced myself. But there are certainly ways you can increase the difficulty of this in movement sophistication. You just saw a good progression of movement sophistication from the push-up to practicing the wheel to that hip extension into the forward roll, and then all the way up until the exercise. The actual exercise is called a spinal wave, a forward spinal wave. But there's other things you can do. I mean, instead of, just for example, instead of putting your hands directly in front of you on the ground like this, you could engage the ground laterally. So I'm walking forward, but I put my hands down laterally. So you get a little bit of a lateral component, a different movement. For me, this is just having fun, so you could walk forward and do the spinal wave that way. And then you can combine it with other things, do something before or after it. So you do the spinal wave, and then you come up into a flat foot squat, and you can do anything from here, go into, anything, get into the spinal run, whatever. Like I said, it's just one exercise, and you determine what you use it for and how you use it. Hope you enjoyed this sort of unconventional exercise. Give it a try. Work at each level as long as you need to. And when your intuition tells you that you're ready to take the next step, definitely do. But spend as much time on each step as is necessary. So again, this is John Sifferman from physicalliving.com. Take care.